Hi guys, let's talk summer plant care. I'm a little late. When does that not happen? I just got to the store and I'm trying to decide where to set up this camera so I don't have to hold it the whole time. You guys want to see? It's very happy right now. Look at all those pothos. Yeah, we'll be open at 1 if you're around. Okay, where am I gonna put this? This is entirely intentional. I'm spazzing out looking for a spot to put the camera so that people have time to get on. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, I think this might work. Let's see. Hold it? No. A box of neem oil. It's maybe not the perfect fit. Okay. If you guys want to start getting your questions ready so that you're ready to put them in the Q&A box, that would be awesome. Because if you put questions in the comments, it's hard for me to come back and find them. Okay, we're just gonna start here. It's the best angle, coming right up at me. All right, do I have my notes? I got my notes. Okay, can everybody hear me? Not a weird clicking sound like there was last time? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can all hear me, if it's working. Okay. Yeah, the pothos are so beautiful. You're right, Josh. Okay. Let's talk summer plant care. Where are you? I have my content overview. There we go. All right, let's dig in. Good, you guys can hear me. That's great news. Okay, we're gonna keep this short and sweet so that I can open the store on time. Fingers crossed. All right. The main thing that happens in summer for plant parents is that the days are longer, okay? So the first thing that you need to understand is that if the days are longer, then your plant is going to be getting more light. When it gets more light, it uses up water and fertilizer faster because it has more energy to grow. So in the summertime, as the light gets stronger and the days are longer, which we did just have the summer, the spring equinox, summer solstice, whatever it is. Our days are shortening again, but we're at like our longest day, right? So your plants will need to be watered more frequently as they get more light. Just like in the winter plant care, we talk about pulling back on watering. In the summer, you're going to need to water more frequently. So throw out your watering schedules, as I always recommend, and instead focus on how quickly is your plant using up the water and checking in on it regularly so that it's not, if you're watering on a set schedule that worked in the winter, it's really easy for the plants to get fried and not enough water in the summer if you stay on that schedule. The next thing, like I said, is fertilizer. So as plants grow and they're using up those micronutrients from the fertilizer, they use up pretty quickly in the summertime, whatever fertilizer was in the potting mix. So if you don't have to fertilize in the summer, but you could start seeing a lot slower growth, paler leaves, and some other issues, smaller leaves if there's not enough fertilizer. If you start seeing some of those, or you want to encourage a lot of growth, get a good standard all-purpose houseplant fertilizer. I like liquid fertilizers because I think they're the easiest to use. I feel like it's a little bit harder to know if you're using the granules and stuff well. And use a liquid fertilizer every 2 to 3 times that you water if you just want to keep it like healthy in general. But you can also use it more frequently as long as you are, diluting according to the instructions on the bottle. And if you want to encourage a lot more growth. So increase how frequently you're checking to see if your plant needs water, and increase how much you're fertilizing, because more light is more energy. It's going to use up everything else more just as it gets more light. Okay, the next big thing that happens in the summertime is people are using their air conditioning. And again, this is very similar to what happens in the winter when you're using a lot of your heat. Using your air conditioning a lot can really lower your humidity levels in your home. So take a look around your house. Make sure that none of your plants are directly underneath a vent. And if they are, move them a few feet so they're not getting blasted with that cold, dry air. And if you start seeing some issues from humidity, some like browning tips on your more humidity loving plants, try clustering them with other plants, getting a pebble tray in place, and and if those aren't fixing it, you could also try a humidifier. In the summertime, very rarely do any of us live in homes that are so hot that it would be uncomfortable for our houseplants. Most of us are way bigger wimps than our plants are. So you probably won't have too big of an issue with really high heat, but you may, if you are just really good at saving energy and don't mind your house being super hot. So if you do start seeing some wilting and it's not in direct light and you know that it has enough water, it's not being over or underwatered, and it's likely to be a heat issue because your house is super hot, then the biggest cure for that is humidity. Okay, most houseplants can handle quite high heat, they're jungle plants, as long as it's correspondingly high humidity. But if the heat is high and the humidity is low, that's when you really start to see a problem. So a heat issue is usually more of a humidity issue than a heat issue. High heat, high dry heat is a problem for them. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention this with light. If you sort of situated your houseplants during the winter and and they were used to that amount of light and they were a lower light plant, they could need to be moved back a little bit from the light source. So if you have like a calathea that was doing really well right in the window during the winter time, in the summertime, late spring, it could be a little bit too much for it and you might need to move it back. So you would just be watching all of those sort of medium to low light plants that are really close to windows. As the days get longer and the light gets more intense, you might need to pull them back for the rest of the summer. Okay, so that's increase frequency of water checks and fertilizing as you get more light. Check on the positioning of your plants. Are they getting too much light if they're like a low or a medium light plant? And check in on humidity as you're using a lot more air conditioning in your house, depending on where you are. And again, heat not really so big of a problem as long as you are increasing the humidity corresponding to how much heat you're getting. All right, those are the main tips for summer plant care. And I have a few minutes for questions. If anybody wants to pop into there's the circle with a question mark in the bottom of the screen. If you want to add a question, I'll look and see if anybody put one into the comments. No. All right, I'll give you guys a little tour of the store real quick and then I'll check the questions again and then I'm going to open the store. All right, so we have right now, we have a lot in here. It always feels really full when the ceiling is full of photos. Okay, what do we have? I'm going to turn this around. Hold on. Whoops. I keep doing it twice. All right, we have green marantas. We have 6-inch Calathea obrifolias. We have Boston ferns. We have lemon button ferns. We have moonshine rattlesnakes. We have Calathea zebrinas. We have rufobarbas. We have 4-inch orbifolias, 4-inch pothos, coffee plants, quite a few different color, really pretty, vibrant syngonium. We have some really pretty long 4-inch pothos, ponytail palms, and Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, the name of which was escaping me. We have a few peperomias. We have the rosso, We have the obtusifolia. We have this big, beautiful Ficus triangularis. It always looks to me like the trees in the Winnie the Pooh movies, like the old ones. They draw the leaves just like that. Okay, there's some setosa, peace lilies, some bigger snake plants, the limelight dracaena. We do have a couple of pileas, and here we go. Some pileas and rickrack cactus. Some big monstera, some smaller 6-inch fiddly figs. Oh, I need to take down the Father's Day cards. A few 6-inch Audreys. This gigantic monstera. Some big Dieffenbachia, tropic snow, peace lilies, dracaenas, and a Kentia palm. That's the bulk of what we have plant-wise. We have a couple of enjoys, not many. And then there's also some lipstick plants up there. Pots. I think we're low on like 8-inch, 10-inch size pots, but we do have baskets in those sizes. And then plenty of 4-inch pots and some good 6-inch ones as well. Okay. All right, it looks like we have a question. How do you recommend repotting? There we go. How do you recommend repotting a larger fiddle fig who seems to be sensitive? Larger is, it depends on what you mean by larger. But if it's as big as like this guy, I wouldn't repot it. All I would do is a top dressing. So remove the top couple inches of the potting mix and then replace it with new potting mix. I wouldn't fully repot it. I don't want it in a bigger pot than that. I can't handle a bigger pot than that. If it's like in a 3 or 5 gallon pot, it's a 2-person job. So I guess the answer is very carefully and with 2 people. It's not so much an issue of like, oh no, if I touch it or move it at all, it's going to die. But it is heavy, so it's easy for it to get broken or other things to happen. And then the other issue is just make sure that you adjust the care as needed. So if there's more potting mix, if it's in a bigger space, your watering schedule is going to change. So you just need to be really sensitive to its needs. Okay. Let's do this one. Can you have birds of paradise or banana leaf plants in the house? Yes, if they're getting enough light. They need quite a bit of light. The reason why we don't carry them in the store very often is most of the suppliers that we work with, the ones that carry birds of paradise are all outdoor growers. They don't grow inside of a greenhouse. And so there's just a different tolerance level for pests. And like a pest, there's a lot of pests that if they come into your house, they're going to take over everything. But in a garden, you can have a certain amount of them sort of existing in that ecosystem, and it's okay. But you don't have all the same predators and environment. You just have this perfect, beautiful, ready-to-eat plant collection for them to go after. So I just don't like to bring them into the store because it's really hard to find those varieties without any pests on them. And so, but you can keep them inside. Just if you buy them from like a large nursery and they're outdoors, give them a good strong pest treatment and keep them kind of segregated and watched for a while. And yeah, they need a lot of light. Okay. How do you replant propagated monstera? So I assume you're talking about a monstera that was water propagated and has roots now. I have a reel about our soup method, but for potting up water propagated rooted cuttings, and it's just basically cover the holes on the bottom of the new pot with some kind of tape, and then fill the pot with really soggy potting mix, like soupy soggy potting mix, so that when you're putting that, like fill it to the very top, when you're putting the new rooted cutting in, there's not a lot of resistance, so you're not really going to lose any of those roots. And then you kind of shake it in, make sure that the roots are pointing downward, that the plant is pointing up, and that it's about where you want it to be in the pot, and then sort of hold it in place there gently. When you remove the tape, the excess water will drain out and it will sort of settle down the potting mix into the pot. So you can watch that reel for kind of more of a visual on that. That's a really easy way, but you can also just whatever you do, use just very moist potting mix when you do it, so that you don't have a lot of like air holes when you're potting it up. But they're pretty hardy. Monsteras are great growers. It shouldn't be too hard to, even if you lose some roots, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. All right, I'm gonna double check. Hold on through here and see if there's any other questions I missed. Join. Someone just asked in the comments, what do I do after my orchid blooms fell off? Keep taking good care of your orchid and hope it blooms again. Orchids are tricky. There's a reason why I don't sell them in my store. I feel like they are they're a thing unto themselves that people develop a lot of expertise in, and that is a little bit separate from what we do. And so I don't have really good specific care instructions for orchids. If in the future I get into them, we'll start selling them. But I like to only sell stuff that I feel really comfortable helping you guys with. But after the blooms fall off, because they do, flowers die and the plant is fine, just take good care of it. Keep it safe, keep it getting the amount of water and light that it was thriving on before, and hopefully it will bloom again. Yeah, and it takes a long time. Somebody else just said mine has rebloomed twice, just took 2 years. It takes a while. My friends who have been the most successful with orchids, they're like, yeah, it's blooming like once a year. It's not like a peace lily or an anthurium where you can expect to see another flower soon if it's getting enough light. All right, thank you guys for joining me for summer plant care. I'm going to put this up on our feed so that you can watch it in IGTV. And next week we'll just be a Q&A, pretty much the same time, probably the same place. No, I'm not working next Wednesday. I'm working next Monday. So I'll just do it from home. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.